What's up, y'all?
That worked.
Try it again. What is up, Buck fans? It is another glorious episode of the Bucs Report, the aftermath. You got your boy AJ Turn Up right here. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? We got Coach Slick, aka the British guy who's always fly, who's always on standby, and you know what I'm saying. How y'all doing tonight? I hope everything is going well. Happy Wednesday for all the Floridians out there. The word of the day for y'all is cool, because y'all need to stay cool down there. It has been over 100 degrees and shit, and the humidity is it has been a sauna. It is sauna Florida down there right now. I was just down there with my family. I was in Miami. Then I was up near Orlando and Winter Haven. Ain't shit winter about Haven out there. That shit should have been called Summer Haven. It's sweltering down in the Sunshine State. That shit is the sauna state. But I hope you guys are doing all right down there. And we got some more fire coming in a few weeks. First thing, we got preseason coming up. I know y'all want to talk about that, but we got a lot of good things to talk about. We got to, of course, one of the biggest things we're going to talk about and bring up is, Rondé is officially a Hall of Famer, and then we got a special guest. We'll bring him up soon because this is going to be a good ass time to talk about football. We got so much shit to talk about. How you doing tonight, Slick?
I'm feeling good. Just got in from work, enjoying myself a nice little rum, getting our chat on, getting ready for this guest, and looking forward to finally getting to hold some NFL football.
Hell yeah. So yeah, guys, no further ado. Let's bring on our guest guy. I'm sure a lot of you Buck fans, especially if you are on Twitter, you know this guy. This man talk a lot of good shit. He starts a lot of controversy, but he speaks his mind, and I fucks with it, and I respect it fully. Let's bring on Salty Buccaneer. What's up?
Hey,
there it is.
What's going on, fellas? Thank you so much for bringing me on the show, bro. I appreciate that sincerely from my heart, man.
No, that's cool, man. Look, so for all these people out here who are new, tell them your social media and where they can find you at.
Only one place you can find me, and that's on Twitter, now known as X. That shit's lame. I'm still not with that shit. It's at SaltyBuck91.
And I'm telling you guys, it's a privilege because it's for the past few months. Well, shit, since last season, Salty and I have always gone back and forth. Always, of course, in respect. We always talk about what's better for the Bucs and what's not. And I like the fact that he let people have it. He like me. I like, you already know, for the fan out there, I'll let you have your shit, and I love it. So let's get this out the way, guys. Rondé Barber is now a Hall of Famer. Now, since you are a guest, Salty, give us your whole thing on
it. All right. Well, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on this a little later this week when I put my article out. I'm getting together some interviews that I did for the Hall of Fame presentation for the ceremony. I have somebody that was actually there. He's reporting on it for me. He's going to be coming in through clutch on that. Rondé Barber, man, what can you say about the dude, man? This dude is the consummate professional. He's one of the best people that represents the organization, well respected around the league. Maybe not the Hall of Fame committee that made him wait a little too long to get in. In my opinion, he has the numbers to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The one thing that really pissed me off, because this is my favorite Buccaneer of all time,
Same.
Right? Mike Evans is right up there. I'm wearing Mike Evans' jersey. Shout out. But Rondé was the dude that kept me locked in through all the bad years. Because I only started watching the Bucs around the time we won the first Super Bowl when I was like 12 years old. We went through a lot of bad football after that. And you had to be faithful in order to still be here by the time that Tom Brady rolled around, man. So Rondé Barber, shout out to you, bro. You were the epitome of what it meant to be a Buccaneer, man. If Derrick Brooks wasn't Mr. Buck, you would be Mr. Buck.
I got mine. What are you drinking?
Well, got a little JMO. Little Jameson.
Ooh, well, let's taste the one. I'll get a bottle out. You get a bottle out. Okay.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Bit of Captain Morgan Black. So Rondé.
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 Salud.
Rondé. Woo! Look, shout out for all the Bucs people out there. Salty, I'll tell you this. Last
All the drinks
March.
are available, people.
Oh, you know what? I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Go ahead.
I didn't finish the thought on what pissed me off.
Okay.
So, what pissed me off the most is if you have a conversation with anybody and they're talking, Deion Sanders, for instance, he's the biggest advocate of they're letting too many people into the Hall of Fame, right? He says that you got to change the game in order to be in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what Rondé Barber did at the nickel corner position. The dude practically reinvented the position, sending corner blitz straight from the inside, coming after the quarterback. Nobody touches him for 45 plus sacks, 25 plus interceptions. Like, this man had all the numbers. That Tampa 2 defense was feared. They might talk shit now about us being poverty because of all the years after the Super Bowl when everything was haywire. We had Mark Dominic as a GM. That dude was fucking terrible. But Rondé Barber was a steady force in that defense that made it watchable until about the time that we got Levante David. And the two of them ran with that shit. I know Levante David is so happy to see his boy get in. So...
Yeah. You have basically said everything that Slick and I have always talked about for minutes. Rondé was always overlooked, and I'll say this, there was a lot of media and personality bias. As we all know, Rondé Barber is a very down to earth. He's a lead by example type of guy. He's not a prima donna, and because he wasn't a prima donna ass person, he wasn't prime time. He didn't have to talk shit. He got the job done. And for years, they overlooked him. They said he's a system corner, which I don't understand. Everybody in the league plays a fucking system.
That in the speech.
That's some bullshit. So are we going to say that
speech,
Joe Montana is not a good quarterback because he was in the system? He was in a West Coast system. You have to implement it and make it work. There's a lot of guys.
Every system can be broken. The Tampa 2 defense can be beat.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's why you have pieces in place and alert checks and things within your coverage that you can do things. I've always preached every preseason. I speak to my guys. We'll have a new scheme or whatever. And I'll say, guys, up and down the country, we run a 4-2. We run a 4-2-5, which is a nickel position thing. You have an extra DB on, right? 4-2-5. That's basically nickel.
Shout out Zion McCollum.
Absolutely. And when you put this in, I said this defense is winning games, seasons, championships up and down the country, but it's also losing seasons up and down the country as well. Yeah. It's not just the system. Everything can be beaten. People need to understand that. It's not just, you can't just have one ironclad defense and that's it. You have to have layers to it.
Yep, and you got to have people that know how to make the shit work. In the 4-3
defense was our weakest point until we drafted Vita.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How terrible were those Jameis Winston defenses?
Oh my gosh.
We know that. And that's why when people were saying we should have got like, wait a minute, we gotta win in the trenches first. I don't give a shit about, again, it's a more popular position. When you know the game of football, everything is won by everybody, even the people who have the dirty jobs, your offensive linemen that don't get the credit they deserve. The problem is you got to know the players to pick. And Rondé was that guy. I'm so glad we got him. He does everything. As you said, Salty, what pissed me off, all his records, he was a far more well-rounded corner than most. I've told Slick this, but Salty, I can only give you 5 corners that I could legitimately say they were just better because they had the skills and overwhelming. Tell me if you agree. You got prime time. That's obvious. You got
That's GOAT right there. I don't give a fuck.
Got Daryl
Don't
Green.
ever try to tell me there was another better corner.
Oh yeah, no. Prime is the greatest corner of all time.
That's number one. That's not going away anytime soon. No. Sauce Gardner, you need to chill the fuck out, bro. With that Hall of Fame shit that you were pulling while you were there.
So there we go. So we all can agree it's Prime. Prime is just it. Then you got Daryl Green, another guy that just could do everything. The man was running the 4.3s in his 40s. Okay, so then you got your Champ Baileys. Champ Bailey could do. He was just a shutdown guy. I will go with this one. I know this might be a little tricky, but I say it because his coverage was impeccable. Charles Woodson.
All right.
Shit, never mind.
I mean,
never mind. That's
nobody's gonna argue with that. But there is one guy that you are missing. He did go into the Hall of Fame this past weekend.
I'm glad that you said that, and I hear you. But at the same time, he can't do what Rondé. He can't do what Rondé can do. So that's why I didn't put him on
top 5. I'm sorry.
I can't put him in.
I love Rondé to death, but I'm not taking Rondé over.
I can't put Revis over Barber because you know who I would put over Revis? I would put Troy Vincent or Ty Law over Revis.
Wow. Wow. That is a take, bro. That is
you know why I say that? Because
Tyler was nice, man. He really was.
But who it's look at it like this.
He gets
why
forgotten
Revis
a
got
lot.
The shine he got is because he came in an era where he was the receiving core, the names of who he was guarding, it put him in a better light. T.O., Randy Moss. You got first of all, that's 2 generational guys you had to cover. Then he also covered Calvin Johnson sometimes. He wasn't always successful. But look at all the names of the receivers that I just mentioned. He had Andre Johnson that he had to face, I think, a few times. He faced a lot of receivers, but also he was also, people forget, when Rex Ryan was their coach, they had a solid defense. Their front 7 was ridiculous. So it made Revis's job easier. Now people will say, well, what about Rondé? I'm like, no, Rondé could play on the outside and inside, and he could blitz. And out of all those corners I just mentioned, Rondé was the most for sure tackler. He made Adrian Peterson
great
tackle. How many times?
Great tackle.
He tackled Jerome Bettis by himself.
His tackle for losses was what I really thought would be the deciding factor that would get him in. Yeah. And it didn't for the longest time. And I was like, what am I seeing that the Hall of Fame committee is not seeing right now? This man has everything that you would want out of a defensive player. I don't even give a shit what position he plays. Out of a defensive player, if my defensive player puts up those numbers, I'm putting him in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Hold on. I want to see what somebody just said right here. Richard Sherman. I like Richard
Peak
Sherman.
Richard Sherman is definitely
he was a dude for a while, wasn't he? But he was only dominant for like 4 years. Then like that 2006
what's the NFL stand for, man? Not for long, bro.
Right,
not for long.
That's what makes
when you peak, you gotta peak.
Yeah, but that's
for sure. But you've also got to have a little bit of longevity.
Amen. Say that.
He stayed in the league a decade plus.
No, not really. Because
did he really play a decade? I mean, he played a decade plus because he played a decade plus. But did he actually contribute properly?
We're forgetting about the injuries, though. The injuries they definitely hindered what he was.
But Salty, let me ask you this: if you were an offensive guy on the field, who are you more in fear of? Having
out of all the DBs that we mentioned.
No, I'm talking about on that team with Sherman. You had. First of all, you didn't want Earl Thomas to hit.
Well, I'm scared of Cam Chancellor. First off, I'm scared of Cam. That's who I'm scared of because that man might kill me on the field.
Chancellor too, but Earl Thomas will fuck you up because he's only 5'10", and that's you already know in football the low man wins. Can you imagine that guy?
I'm 5'10". I don't fear a single 5'10" man on this planet, bro.
Hey, you might.
But Cam Chancellor comes at me, man. I'm gonna get fucking scared.
Well, see, there you go. That's my only thing for the Legion of Boom. And Sherman, they didn't do it like for me. It takes at least 5 years of consistency. I need 5 consistent years. He had 3 big ones, but another thing, social media helped Richard get the shine that he deserves. And sometimes it could have been overhyped because remember that Seahawks team became the underdog people team because of you had Russell Wilson there, and then you also had the great Marshawn Lynch. So all those different personalities
had a lot of good
that
players.
gave them popularity. You see what I'm saying? Can you imagine if the Bucs had like 4 guys that had the Sap-like mentality? We would be far more, getting better exposure like we should. But again,
that was one thing that the Buccaneers should have done back in that era. Give them, I know it's goofy, give your defense a nickname because it fucking stays true. We still talk about the Legion of Boom, the Steel Curtain. We still talk about those teams. Now you just got, with some of the other teams, you just got to say the 2000 such and suches. But if you've got a nickname, it lasts a bit longer. It's catchy. And it's a shame that we didn't just have I suppose it is technically the Tampa 2, but if there was just a nickname that kind of went along with it, it kind of sits in it. Right now, this is defense probably has one of the most Hall of Famers in it.
Yeah, 4.
I want to shout somebody out real quick because he was saying I like the nickname that he gave our defense the year 2021 when we were arguably having the greatest Bucs season ever. It fell short against the Rams. Breaks my heart. I hate talking about it, but it was JC Allen, man. He was always calling it the NASCAR defense, and that defensive line was so fast. It was night and day from what we saw last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that defense, we just kept pumping out defensive linemen, fast defensive linemen, putting out pressure. Everybody wants to discount what we accomplished against the Kansas City Chiefs because of their O-line. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, man, that was dominance. We scored 31 points in that Super Bowl. So, like, something's got to give. You got to give us a little bit of credit somewhere.
Oh, Salty, the hell with with those people out there who say that shit, because you know why? Those were the same people when I had my podcast and I was telling people, hey, when it comes to the Bucs and the Chiefs have more notable bigger names, but overall the Bucs team was just far better anyway. You take Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, and Mahomes, that was it, and Chris Jones. But the Bucs had Evans, Godwin. We know all the squad. But they were still saying, oh, well, Mahomes is just going to single-handedly destroy and shred this defense. And then when we put that ass down,
based on that was based on the fact that we played the Kansas City Chiefs earlier in the year, and Carlton Davis got torn up going against a matchup that wasn't right for him. He doesn't have the speed to match up with Tyreek Hill. That was better suited for Jamel Dean, and then we saw a masterclass in what Jamel Dean
Well,
did.
A lot of people don't realize if you go back to the Bucs game that season, the Chiefs did not do anything the second half.
No,
if the Bucs had more time, they would have won that game.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Todd Bowles though, man, because everybody be giving him shit all the time how he is as a head coach, but as a defensive mind, man, there's probably only a couple guys I would take over him at making an adjustment at halftime for the defense.
Yeah, but
the man is second to none at generating pressure when he has shitty defensive linemen.
Slick knows this, Salty, but I'm gonna let Slick tell you. What the hell do I have? What is my grievance that I have with Bowles that I would tell him to his face?
You absolutely despise off alignment. You fucking detest off alignment. So any corner that's aligned where safety should be aligned, that shit pisses him off.
Oh, playing off the ball so far back.
Yes,
I feel you.
Yeah, when you 10 yards deep.
That's a bend not break strategy though. It
is. I mean, everyone has
it works. It works, and we don't think it does, but it actually does.
Yeah, it does.
Everything underneath.
It looks bad.
I'd rather give up first downs than give up the big ass play downfield.
See, that's where we differentiate. See, I'm the person where I want to smack you in the mouth first and see how you react. Because if you play cushion with me, I'll just give you death by 1,000 cuts. Because now at that point, it's a thinking game. Your corners, you do not want your corners to become overzealous or hesitant. And Slick has brilliantly said this. I can't articulate it as he can right now, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to say it in a nutshell. I'm going to paraphrase it. What he says is if you got these guys way off the line and all you got to do is hit them with one move, and despite them being out there with all that cushion because they're not prepared, you're through. Or imagine a big receiver, Salty, like a TO of his time or Anquan
Okay, so
Boldin.
you gotta play those guys a little. You gotta play certain guys press coverage. You do.
This is true, but that's why I always like the press coverage.
What we're looking at when
Yeah.
we're dropping our corners back and giving them that cushion,
Yeah.
man. What we're trying to do is we're trying to gang tackle guys, little receivers like a Devontae Smith. We want to gang tackle that guy because that's trust in the boys that we got that they're gonna make the tackle, and that ball, you get hit enough times, you're sore, you don't put 100% effort into protecting the ball. That's a turnover potentially that you're going to force right there. And when you got boys like Devin White, Levante David, Carlton Davis, Antoine Winfield Jr., all Ryan Neal, who we just added, all these boys can hit.
Yeah.
So when you're gang tackling, yes, you do leave yourself open that some of those guys could possibly get injured. But more times than not, you got a chance at forcing a turnover that can look at the game against the LA Rams in the divisional. We lost that game, but the only reason we were in that game, we were forcing fumbles the whole game, getting back into the game.
Yeah, but here's the flip side to that. Jamming is not about the receiver. Jamming is about messing up the timing between the quarterback. I don't get this is what I like to tell people, because a lot of people
can't jam all day though. You get shredded eventually.
You're gonna tire it out your corner on doing that.
You
gotta find a mixture of everything.
Let's put it this way. When you're asking Carlton Davis to play press man on DK Metcalf the whole game, that dude by the third, fourth quarter is gonna be exhausted.
Man. Oh, absolutely.
You got to give him a little bit of help.
Oh no, I'm saying mix it up. But what Bowles is, sometimes the risk is not worth the reward, because the reason why I say that, look at it this: when you play bend don't break, that means your offense better be on point too. Because last season we couldn't
first half though, right? We play that way more often in the first half.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
It's a long game. As long as you keep shit controlled up to halftime, anything can happen.
Right. So I'm gonna spend my 2 cents worth on this, because I'm a former defensive coordinator and a defensive backs coach. I will say that there's a place for it, and it's usually on 3rd down and long or 4th on a bus ride, because you just have to. The thing I don't like about it personally is you can get sucked into, because you're stationary when the moves, unless you're bouncing the feet. You can get sucked into a first move, and if that move isn't the legit move, you can get pulled away from it, and it can turn into something big. So they break out, and they go, "Oh shit, motherfucker's gone out." Then you start to break down on it, as you should, because you've seen there's a potential pick in the way, and then they cut back in, and then we've got a problem. But it does serve a purpose, like you said. It's there to nullify a bend but don't break. It's forcing them to try and complete a pass between the sticks. And then your defense is supposed to come mop up and clean it up. That's what it's there for. I believe it to have it as its purpose, same as I believe press has its purpose. And masterful press guys will get more reps at that. Me personally, I'm a big 6 guy. Keep my corner at 6 for at least 75% of the game. But I coach a smaller level of football. So
let me ask you this: if you had Eli Apple on your team, are you playing press man or are you playing more of a zone?
I'm playing. Get somebody else. I'm sorry.
I'm playing.
All right, we're all in the same boat on that one.
I'm playing him at 6.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that too is because I think of the game mental salty. We all know this. A lot of receivers don't like when they get manhandled, as you just said. Metcalf can usually dominate, but when he's not getting the ball and mentally it's not going his way, they break down, they freak out, they get frustrated. Instead of playing the route that they need to run, now it's, I just got to beat this motherfucker off of me. He's all up in my shit. And especially, that's what Josh Norman used to do so well to receivers. It wasn't that he was always better than them. He would just get in their heads and say, yeah, you ain't doing shit. Despite, the dude could be doing fine, but when you get a player to the point where they just need to beat you instead of playing their game, that's when shit goes off. Because I like how you said that corners can get tired, so can receivers. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine trying to shove and fight and run at full speed for 3 quarters, and then finally when it's time to make the big play, you're just exhausted? Slick is right, though. It needs a balance. I just think if my offense can't match the other team's offense, sometimes the bend and don't break. It frustrates me because you're right, Salty. It can work out, but what happens if they score 7 on our defense long, and then the offense gets a 3 and out? Now that same defense is coming out tired or a little more like they're gassed a little bit, and that's when that 7 can turn to 10 to zip in the first quarter or 14 to zip. And now if you got a shitty offense or the offense isn't in sync, now that other defense, your opponent's defense, they can pin their ears back.
The only thing I would say, sorry, AJ. The only thing I'd say of this is what you've got here is 2 schools of thought on how you should do things, and that's football, man. There's football. Football is everyone has a different philosophy how a certain player should play this or how a certain defense should have this. That's just football. You know, you got one guy going, yeah, okay, I think it's got its place. You got, and there's, I know, I see there's this, and there's you going, no, I don't like it at all, and that's absolutely no one's wrong because football is fucking football. Can we all agree on that?
Oh, absolutely.
I agree. I will speak from a linebacker's perspective always.
You played linebacker?
I played linebacker, and I welcomed a receiver catching the ball in my space because I'm gonna blow his ass up.
Absolutely.
You can.
So give him all the underneath shit. I will lay him out.
You can't get away with that in the NFL, though.
What pisses me off is when I'm going balls to the wall. I got a fucking guard coming to the second level trying to block my ass. And none of my corners can make a tackle. So therefore, running back gets up to the safeties level. And if my safety can't tackle either, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And that's a play that I wanted to blow him up.
Now, and that puts you in a compromised position. I like that. Because let me ask you this, Salty. Now, what do you put yourself now? Imagine being in this situation. You want to get blow that receiver up, but what if they got a Gronkowski or a Kelsey-esque like tight end there? Now that's where the plot thickens because you gotta pick your poison. Because if that tight end could run like a 4.45, now shit. I want you to go to the receiver, Salty, so I can have that tight end run that seam route. And
all I'll say on that is thank God we got somebody like a Levante David that can cover Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
We are blessed. Count your days that we have him. We might not have him past this season. Now, I would love to bring him back if he's still playing at moderately the same level that he was last year, plays that same way this year. I'll give him another 1-year contract, man. I want to see Levante David play until the brakes come off. Thanks. Now, we got a guy on deck right now. Mm-hmm. If you've been paying attention to training camp, what this man is doing, this man was known as a blitz linebacker.
Yeah.
Perfect for the Todd Bowles system, right?
Yep.
Except all through training camp, this man is making plays, play after play after play. I think he's up to like 3 or 4 interceptions in camp alone. With OTAs, I'm sorry. Yeah. Combined with OTAs and camp.
Mm-hmm.
Servassier Dennis, the other Panther that we drafted in the 5th round after Kalijah Kancey. They were teammates in college. The chemistry is there, man. I'm so excited for the future with this.
Absolutely. I mean, he was. I believe Levante had a Veterans Day today, and Servassier has taken his place in the ones, so he's getting ones work a lot as well. And he's got, as far as I know, in camp so far, not including OTAs, he's got 2. So, he's making his presence felt, and all I've heard is great things about him so far. That's great. And he's not from LSU, so it's always good, right? Because we did not do well with LSU fucking linebackers.
Yeah. And here's a hot take.
What if they get to be seen?
Yeah. What if they become the next?
One of them he was very good. It was unfortunate what happened. Man,
Kendall Beckwith.
Kendall Beckwith, man. I was so sad about that car crash, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What could have been. But we probably don't get Devin White if we have Kendall Beckwith.
That's true, and you just don't know what happened. Shakes out in that Saints game.
No, and that's why football is the way it is. You just got to play ear by ear because I've told people, what if the Bucs in '99 win the Super Bowl? We might not ever have gotten Chucky because Dungy might have finally got the offense where it needed to be. And, hell, for all we know, it might have been better off. We might have been a dynasty with that defense. That's one thing I've told people. That's why the Bucs defense, you got to give them credit. From 97 to 2007, the Bucs defense was always, literally in the top 10.
Back then,
that is the longest streak I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Back then, it was our offense may not score 20, but yours won't either.
Facts.
Yep.
We gave up 196 points in the 2002 season. The only other team that I think that's done better was the 2000 Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So the Buck and Slick said it earlier. You got four,
arguably the greatest defense of all time. That 2000 Ravens.
Up there with
the 86 Bears. I think it was 86.
85 Bears. I love the 85 Bears. I love the 85 Bears, but
and then you got the steel curtain.
The steel curtain, yeah. I would put the Bucs over the 85 Bears, and I say that because the Bucs, they had power and speed. 85 Bears, if they played in this, not even because it's soft, but if they play even in the 2000s, they would get destroyed because they're too slow. Singletary's not catching nobody.
Put the defensive player of the year against anybody. Your best defense, and who was defensive player of the year on that best defense? Ours, Derrick Brooks.
Absolutely.
Put him up against like any of the guys that won it the year that their defense was the number one defense.
Oh, absolutely.
He's up there.
Yeah, the only other linebacker that you could say that I would say that's better, you got, of course, LT is better, and then Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis and LT, I put them two up there, but Derrick Brooks is the Tim Duncan of linebackers.
Different positions though. Different.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely different positions.
Big time, but I say Brooks.
Ray Lewis, and Derrick Brooks. A lot of people don't know this, but I listened to an interview that Ray Lewis did, and he was talking about when he was getting recruited for college, and his choices were Miami and Florida State, and he almost picked Florida State, but at the time they had Derrick Brooks, and when he was coming in, they told him, your freshman year, you're probably not going to play because we got Derrick. You're going to have to sit behind Derrick because y'all play the same position. He said, fuck that. I'm going somewhere where I can start day one. I'm going to Miami.
Hell, and that worked out for him. Man, just think, man. Florida got the – look, Slick, we in the States, it's been a big argument. I don't know why, but it's by far –
Florida got the best it's not close.
It's not even close. Like Texas –
any sport. We can play any sport year round. Oh, ice hockey. We got a hockey rink. We can build in the backyard. We can build an arena and practice hockey and shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Baseball, football, basketball,
and how
tennis, golf. What do you want to play right now, man?
We can do it.
Florida's gonna beat you.
And Texas will say, "Oh, football is a religion for us. We practice it." I'm like, no. In Florida, football is the religion. We are it. You guys practice it. We live by that shit.
Texas got the big boys. We got the fast boys.
And the big boys can be fast too. The big boys can be fast too. Like Warren Sapp, he was too fat. They didn't know what to do with him. Warren Sapp was ahead of his time. That's why I said what I said, Salty, about
Warren Sapp's from Orlando, Edgewater High School. So there we go.
Boom. Derrick Brooks, Tallahassee. We have Sean Taylor. We just the 2001 Hurricane. 90% of that shit from Florida. Florida just got the best. When it comes to the NFL, you're welcome. That's 60% of talent right there. But so yes, like in the States, we love talking our shit because
I heard that the hotbeds of talent are Florida, Texas, and California. They're the main. They're the top three.
Virginia too.
Yeah, but VA got some boys too, and then also if you go to the Midwest, Ohio, and then if you go north, Pennsylvania, they got some boys that can.
Pennsylvania got a lot of good football. They got a lot of good football.
And then a sneaky one is Illinois. Illinois, they got some boys that can ball there too.
I mean, we can go all day. Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, all these states in the South, they all play football.
Yep.
Texas likes to think that they got that shit on lock for high school football. No, man, every school in every southern state goes religiously for football.
Yep. So that's just how it is, y'all. So as you can see, we love our game and we love our Bucks. But I want to ask y'all this. We got to talk about this because now we know what's going to happen when it comes to the starters. First game, Baker Mayfield's the starter. In the second preseason, it'll be Trask. Now, I'm sure everybody has been watching. Salty, break the shit down. If you had to say this to Buck fans right now, of the whole assessment and the hype of everything, what is it that you want to just tell Buck fans right now?
I would tell them that I'm proud of Kyle Trask for giving a valiant effort. I think that this job was Baker's to lose from the beginning. I don't think that, I can start to see how all the Florida Gator fans that I always make fun of, they always, banging the drum for Trask. I was that guy for Jameis because I'm a Seminole. But take that aside, man. Like, this man didn't really get a fair shake at this. We're going to get a lot of information out of the preseason games because when the lights turn on, that's all that matters. You can go the entire training camp without throwing a pick. But if you suck ass in a preseason game, there's no way you're going to be the starting quarterback. So it's a valiant effort by Trask. It makes me feel better if anything happens to Baker, that at least Trask can hold it down for a week or two, a couple weeks, maybe past that. God forbid that Baker gets hurt. But as far as this battle goes, man, like, it's intriguing to me because we all know the light at the end of the tunnel. What could happen if we do suck like everybody thinks we're going to suck? We'll get Caleb Williams. We'll get Drake May. We got the receivers, the weapons that you add one of those quarterbacks to this lineup, we're going to win the South every year. Now, I don't think it works out like that. I think that they're going to be pretty damn good. I have been saying 9-8 all off season since the draft because I really, really do believe this was a sneaky generational draft for this team. This is going to be one of those drafts that people look back on that sets you up for a decade, kind of like how the Saints did in 2017 when they ended up coming away with like a Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, guys like that set that team up for winning ways for a couple of years, all right? That's how I feel about this draft, and nobody talks about it but Bucs fans. If they see the stuff that Yaya Diaby or the way that people talk about Kalijah Kancey, how fast he is getting off the ball, this team is set up in the trenches. Now, getting back to the quarterback competition, man, as long as these boys don't fuck up in Canales' offense, we should be fine. We will win games. This defense is set up to carry these quarterbacks. They may not impress anybody. They may not throw 30 touchdowns. They might throw 18, 19 interceptions. But if they can keep it to like 14, 15 interceptions, somewhere around that range or lower, I believe we are going to win 9 games.
I like it.
Okay, what about you? How do you feel about it? Talk to me about it. What are your feelings?
Shit, Buck fans, relax. It's just practice. It's practice, guys. Damn it, you making me bring out AI. We talking about practice. Practice. I love
not a game. Not a game.
Not a game. But
practice.
Practice. I love the enthusiasm. I love it. But let's just take it a day at a time. Hold on, Sean. What did Sean Smith say? Yaya Kancey alone make y'all a threat for years to come if these guys play up to the potential. Yeah, you got a point. 9-8. I like that. But I'm gonna go. Slick already knows. I swing for the fence. I'm with you, Salty, but I got the Bucs winning. If they do everything right and health-wise, health is the most important thing. If they can stay 70 to 80% healthy throughout the entire season, I don't see the Bucs losing that many games. I see them winning between 10 to 12. Now, here's why I say that. You're right, Salty. The Bucs already aware. I'm sure Bowles knows defense. They're going to carry us the first 5-6 games. They have to because the offense is going to get themselves together. But we have that. I think Yaya is going to be a problem. I like certain passes. Yaya, he's going to be what we thought JTS was going to be. Mm-hmm. So with the quarterback situation, you're right. Salty, you know what I think? Canals is going to he's going to be like, look, let's get this run game first going. So you're right. They probably will cut down the interceptions because they don't have to do a lot. And another thing,
we're not going to be throwing 45 times a game like
we
were
won't
with
need
Brady.
to. We won't need to. And you're right. And then with Evans and them, and here's one thing that
with Jameis we threw 45 times a game.
Exactly. Now here's another thing that a lot of Buck fans, well, not Buck fans, but a lot of media don't want to admit. Baker is a far better running quarterback than Brady is. So what does that mean? Baker can improvise. Baker can do certain things and get out of the pocket and make plays happen down the field with Evans and Godwin and Russell Gage, who looks like he's going to get his shit together and stay healthy.
It's a double-edged sword, though, because if he tries to dance around too much back there, that's when he tends to get baited into a really bad play. Yeah. Jameis used to do the same thing, man.
Right, but I don't think he has to do that. Canales will work that out. See, James was also, he was a victim of himself, but also shitty play calling by dumbass
Byron Leftwich.
Yeah. So if I'm Canales, just keep it simple. Do some bootlegs because he's mobile. Get that shit to Evans or Godwin and just call it a day. Like you said, you ain't got to do all this and then run the rock. Rachaad White is young and hungry. So I think the Bucs, and another thing Slick and I have talked about, Salty, the NFC should be the least FC. I'm not worried about that many teams. It's not like the NFC is this powerhouse. You got two solid teams.
Respect Philly, bro. Respect Philly. That team is loaded with talent right now.
Oh no, the Bucs are, but I'm saying the entire NFC.
I'm talking about Philly as far as the NFC goes.
I was about to say that. Philly and San Fran are the two, but that's it. But we're talking about an entire.
So I think what he's trying to insinuate is basically you can get to the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Oh yeah.
Meet one of those teams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And God forbid, we've already talked about this because we have to do this because I don't want people to think we wishing bad luck on people. But let's say, unfortunately, the way he plays. If he gets hurt, their season is completely done. The 49ers.
You got no faith in Marcus Mariota?
Hell no.
He'll quit before.
Hey, but in that system though, I mean, like it's Marcus Mariota. Like I'm not expecting anything, but I won't be surprised if he succeeds in that system because the way that it's tailor made for a mobile quarterback.
I agree with that. I just don't think he has enough. And I think he'll carry them a few games. I don't think he could finish.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm barring major injuries.
I think they could split the difference quite easily.
And I can't believe this. I'd rather have Gardner Minshew than fucking Mariota.
You leave Gardner alone. He's a dude.
Gardner is he's in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'd rather have Gardner because Gardner's a fighter. But that's what I'm saying.
He's got that dog in him.
Yeah, he got that dog in him. And Salty, the 49ers. I like the team, but they got to stay healthy. And we don't know the quarterback situation.
So it's a good thing you brought that up. With the 49ers, I can see a lot of similarities in the system that we're trying to implement right now, where it's kind of, you don't want to say quarterback proof, but
it's not quarterback.
The emphasis that you have to have a top 5 quarterback to succeed is far lower in that system and the system that we're trying to implement right now. Right. We're going to see a lot of diversity in the play calls that just from what I'm hearing out of camp, there's a lot of things that if you told Byron Leftwich that you can call that play, he'd look at you all side-eyed and be like, the fuck are you talking about? You can't do that.
Yep. Flight of the Bumblebee. That's his play. Flight of the Bumblebee. That's all he can call.
If I had to watch Mike Evans take another screen pass, I was gonna, bro. That was the worst shit. First off, that's never been his game because for somebody to take a little bubble screen, you need that guy to be a yak guy. Mike Evans has never been a yak guy. All right,
possession.
The little screen dump offs to Leonard Fournette, man, that's not going to get you a lot of yardage. You don't have somebody like Rob Gronkowski out there as a lead blocker. Like, come on, man. We got to realize the personnel that we had on this team.
Oh, absolutely. But that's why we were saying that. Also, even the screens to Godwin, you're going to get them blown up. You're getting them killed because the line doesn't pick up enough. I think you're on.
How does that make sense? Guy's coming back from a major knee injury. Let's open him up for contact by throwing a bunch of screen passes to him.
That's what we're saying. Hey, and like you said, the variety. I think Canales he's searching for this identity, and I'm fine with that because we already said the Bucs defense is going to be just fine. The Bucs defense is going to be nasty. I can see this defense right now finishing. I'm a hot take top 5.
Oh,
If they stay healthy, top 5.
Top 5 to 7. For
I'd
sure.
say, yeah, I'm gonna go with top 5 if they stay healthy, because if Canty and Vita have the games that I expect, there's no team in the league that can block Vita by himself already. But you have to double, and if Canty shows out and Yaya show out now, oh shit! Oh, then we forgot the Gravediggers.
Exactly. I was about to get to the Gravediggers.
The Gravediggers.
Antoine's going back to his natural position as a free safety. This is the healthiest. Knock on wood, man. Knock on wood that Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean have ever been, and they're going to be playing together. When those two play together, man, it's night and day how good the defensive backfield can be.
Oh, absolutely. You are absolutely right. And Winfield is going to be an elite safety this season.
I've been calling all pro all offseason. I've been saying this is the year. This is the year that Antoine makes all pro.
I agree. I'm with you. And if Carlton Davis can catch just 50% of the balls that come his way, he'll be an elite corner. That's it. If he can just catch,
you seen his pass breakups, like the stats for how many pass breakups you're talking about. If he catches half of the passes thrown his way, bro, we're talking about this man might have 20 interceptions in a season if he gets half.
That's my point. I hear you. And people don't like to admit it, but if you go back to the Vikings game, he shut down Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson didn't do shit with the Bucs that game.
Look at what he did to Chase, Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
when Cincinnati came down here, we played like shit the second half, but Carlton Davis was keeping Jamar Chase in check.
Absolutely. So you're right. The Gravediggers are going to be just fine. That's why I say this Bucs defense is going to make things happen. The offense will slowly get themselves together, but I do expect to see a lot more running, but effective running. I believe in Cody Mock. And from what I've been hearing, Tristan Wirfs, despite him, having the mental situations about that position,
that was so overblown. That was so overblown.
Yeah, yeah. They say
he wasn't even saying what people are implying online.
Right.
It's not that he's like this weak-minded bitch, bro. Yeah. This man sought out mental help, which everybody should be comfortable enough to realize, hey, man, there's something going on in my head. I just want to talk to somebody about it. That's all he was doing. He has a lot of expectations that he's placing on himself, not just the fan base placing it on him, expecting him to switch from right tackle to left tackle and be all pro at both positions. That might take a toll on some people, but this is a dude that he literally said in the same quote that I'm seeking help. He was like, well, I was thinking, what if this happens? What if this happens? And then I realized, hey, it's May. Relax. That's what he said. And they cut it off before that, and they make it seem like he's this guy that's scared to move over to left tackle. Tristan Wirfs is a beast.
We know
and
that.
I fully expect this man will be a top 5 left tackle this year.
Oh, absolutely. And if he's a top 5 left tackle, he's going to have a blank check.
Pretty much. We've been saying this. It's like you become a left tackle and you're an elite left tackle, you are going to make money. But just to reiterate to the point about the quarterback situation, the only thing I like, the interesting thing I find about this, seems Kyle Trask is more suited to the Dave Canales offense with this whole quarterback delivery system. And that's why this is why I'm interested, because one guy's got more touchdowns, more big plays, but has the picks. Right, which is Jameis Winston-esque, you could argue, which has kind of been the tagline for Baker Mayfield. He's a white Jameis Winston. And then you got Kyle Trask, who's not turning over the ball quite as much, but isn't making the big plays. And I want to find out, how much of these what's the defining difference? Is the fact that he's making big plays, but they're just not as many as Baker, or is it he's really not making big plays at all and he's just conservative? So are we going to get a 3-and-out guy in Kyle Trask, or are we going to get a guy who's too risky and fuck the biscuit? That's the you know what I'm saying? It's one of those. Now that's what I find so fascinating about this battle, because they are literally polar opposites of each other. But one thing I will say, if Baker Mayfield can't be out Kyle Trask, he probably should fucking retire. Because if Kyle Trask comes out and has a shit season, he couldn't beat out Kyle Trask is not a good thing for him.
Oh no, not coming off of last year, like the situation that he was coming off of in Carolina. He played pretty well in LA. And then towards the end in Cleveland, he was injured, but best ability is availability, man. You gotta be out there. You were drafted number 1 overall. There's certain expectations on you. Now, what I've heard with Kyle Trask, what's really truly holding him back in this competition is like Pewter Report, they responded to me. I told them, I said, is it safe to assume that, Kyle has been the better quarterback in camp, but Baker is making the more memorable impact plays, the big plays. And they said, yeah, that's a fair assessment. Now, Kyle hasn't been connecting downfield for the long, deep pass, and you do need your quarterback to be able to do that, because there are going to be games where that's going to open up for you. And if you got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, any of these boys, bro, we might even see it out of Trey Palmer a lot this season, depending who wins the job. They're going to get open. They're going to be downfield. You need to be able to hit this man in stride so you can put 6 on the board.
I agree. I think that's going to be like you guys alluded to, when the lights come on and we see these preseason games, it's really going to come down to who really plays in the lights. That's what you can kick a million kicks in camp for the kicking battle, yeah. But I remember once the Jags did Hard Knocks years and years and years ago, and in camp the 2 kickers, I can't remember their names, were kicking neck and neck and neck and neck, and one just could not fucking do it in the games, and he was cut.
Yeah, that's how it is. And that's why right now I give him more to Baker, because he has more of the experience. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to see this preseason game fold. But even in the preseason, of course, these guys are going to play their asses off. But we know for the most part, the people who already have things locked in, the starters, they want to get healthy. A lot of the starters wanted to survive preseason. I want to know what's going to happen week 1 against Minnesota. That is going to give us, for the most part, a clear indication on is Baker the guy or not. I would give Baker, I say if he fucks up 3 straight games where I see nothing and the defense is doing their job, but it's Baker, then all right, Trask, let's see what you got. 3 games. He gets 3 games. But as of right now, I'm still going to go with Baker. But like I said, after 3 games, that's it. I'm just excited about I think the simple fact without the Brady media frenzies, that's going to help put this team back together and keep them focused and hungry. I think that now they understand what it's like to be at the top and now come back to the bottom when you allow your egos and other shit outside of the locker room affect your organization. So these guys are going to come back hungry and humble. That's what I love. Do you feel the same, Salty?
No, completely, man. Like I was talking about it with somebody. Somebody was talking about that we're gonna suck this year and they will be drafting Caleb and stuff like that. And I was like, man, honestly, I just don't see it because this team is so talented. And I mean, we're gonna see it this year. We're gonna see a lot of changes that we weren't expecting. A lot of people are sleeping on us. What we're gonna actually get out there and do, I think it's gonna be a little cleared up by the time we get to Minnesota. Minnesota was one of those. Every year, there's a pretender with a really good record.
Yeah,
they were incredible in 1-score games, right? I think they were like 8-1 in 1-score games. But like that defense, it wasn't as good as people thought it was. They're a year older. I think they got rid of Zadarius Smith, who was in the trenches for him. I think he's with Cleveland now, right?
Yeah.
Harrison Smith, he's another year older. Like
he's kind of lost a step. Not bad. He's still a good.
He's still good. He's still good, but he's
not Pro Bowl level.
He used to. Yeah. So like this is a team that I keep saying it is if Baker and or Trask, if Trask wins, as long as they don't turn the ball over a lot and the other team scores off of those turnovers, we should be fine because I have full faith in this defense this year. Even if Kalijah Kancey takes some time to bring along the first couple weeks because of his calf injury. Now, we're probably going to be starting somebody that we haven't discussed tonight, but who has turned some heads in camp and is looked at to be a Golston 2.0 clone. That if you were looking at these guys on the field, you'd swear that was Golston. I'm talking about Logan Hall, bro. This man
packed, give him a salute for the start. Salute for the start.
This man packed on 15 pounds of muscle since the offseason started. And he has been out there. He has been shining. He has been looking solid, like he can be a core piece of this defense. And when you got Vita, you got Logan Hall, Kalijah Kancey, Yaya Diaby, JTS very well might be a rotational guy, and that will be fine if Kalijah Kancey and Yaya Diaby are playing like first rounders. Now, Yaya, we took third round?
Yeah.
But from everything you hear, this man cannot be stopped. He's just so fast, so athletic, so strong. And I think, I want to put him in there as a sleeper pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. If he does what I think he can do and he snatches that starting job from JTS a couple games into the season, they realize, hey, this guy might actually just offer us more than JTS has given us. Not to throw shade on JTS, because I think from what I've heard, he's improved as well. He's getting in to the quarterback a lot more. So, yeah, like we got a lot of talent is all I want to emphasize. However Todd Bowles decides to construct this defense, I trust him because he sees these guys every day and he knows what they're capable of.
The interesting thing I find about this defense is a couple of the linebackers, the outside linebackers or edge defenders, if you want to call them that as well, have come away with picks. Diaby and JTS have both come away with picks from different quarterbacks. What that tells me, what that's kind of looking like me, and I'm not there, I don't have an eyeball on the field, I'm not seeing anything, is they play a 3-4. Now it looks like they're kind of playing with who's potentially dropping into coverage and who's not. And that can be an absolute fucking minefield for a quarterback. Because if you don't know who's dropping and who's not dropping, and one thing we all know about Bowles, he likes to be creative with his blitz package. So if you've got guys dropping and he's not dropping and he is dropping, he likes to delay blitzes and then he doesn't blitz and this person blitzes. My Lord, you could have so much fun playing in this defense, because 1 minute you're showing the blitz and then if you got that quick burst of speed, you can get back into a back pedal and you're now playing the flat. Boom, you've just picked off this little hitch route that they got on the go from the slot. Boom, job done.
Facts. Yaya is basically just it looks like he's going to be the second coming of JPP. Strong, athletic, quick, but also can be that sneaky guy in coverage to where he backs up. The quarterback think he got some open and he snatches it out of the air. And that's a big dude, and he's very athletic. Then if JTS, like you said, if even as a rotational player, he can be devastating because Yaya is the guy who can beat you up with the strength, and then JTS can use the speed to suck the wind out of alignment. Like, shit. Now you got to go, damn, I got to, Slinger said, the muscle memory. Damn, I was so used to charging at this guy.
I got to make that alignment think. You got to make him think.
Yep.
It's almost like if you can't get JTS to stop controlling his speed, which is what I've always found that I find that is his weakness or his developmental area, if you want to be nice, is he's got so much speed, but he does not know how to displace his center of mass at a quick rate. So he's good at going one way, but he can't pull it back. If that guy learns a spin move and knows how to flip his hips and stuff like that, that guy will naturally be dominant because he's doing things that not many people can do. The problem is he's so fast, he doesn't know how to control his speed. It seems like he doesn't, because he over pursues a lot.
Yep.
Now, if you've got a guy like Diaby who's just fucking pump every time, this offensive tackle's like, fucking now this guy's just fucking giving me pump.
We're gonna wear some tackles out this year. We're gonna wear some tackles
for sure. And then you've got JTS coming off the line full speed. This guy's like, fuck me. I didn't expect him to do that. You're gonna get JTS with a couple of splash plays. He's not gonna do it every game or what have you, but he's gonna get good sacks as a rotational piece if he doesn't win the job, because he offers a different role.
Yep.
Yeah, and JTS actually got more picks in this system than any other time in his career.
Well, that's good. I just want him to bring that shit to the game. And I know I keep talking about it, but guys, think about it. I'm gonna just name off some people in the NFC. That let's say you got the NFC South in general. The Saints, I don't think they're gonna do shit. I'm not scared of Derek Carr. I'm not scared of the Taints
at all.
Even with the Kareem Hunt signing and all
that. What did he do?
No, Kareem did. He didn't sign with him. You didn't know this?
No, I thought
it was like last minute.
Finalized.
Check this shit out. This shit is rich. All right. So this man went to go work out for the Saints.
Yeah.
He got a text from his agent who said the Colts came through with more money. Get out of there. Get on the plane. We're heading up to Indy. And he just dipped on him.
Wow. Fuck.
Incredible. Like left at the altar moment.
So never mind. Now you still don't have. They got their little Jamal Williams or whatever the shit. They ain't got no Kareem.
Hey, look, it doesn't matter.
Stop the run. Though, I mean, he might be a problem though. That running back they took from TCU is pretty good.
Yeah, but
I'm not worried about the run game because we're set up to beat the run. That's the one thing you can turn around and say about this Bucs team is it's not a leaky run fit. So I'm okay with that. I want force Derek Carr to be a quarterback with less weapons.
He's gonna give you one. Because I think he was like third ranked for quarterbacks in one score games.
Yeah,
who throws a pick?
Absolutely, he's gonna give you one, and he doesn't. I like Olive.
Give you that game
I like Olive, but he's not there yet for y'all to say, oh, he's gonna be dangerous. They don't have enough offensive, and then you got old ass Jimmy Graham in there.
Would you call him Olave or Olive?
Olave.
Olave, yeah.
Yeah.
He's nice. I like him. I really wanted him. I was so pissed when they drafted him.
I'm glad that he's cool, but not a threat. Panthers, not a threat. They're still rebuilding. Atlanta, they are just all over the place. They haven't found an identity yet. So it's going to take them at least 10 games to figure out who the hell they are. And by then they'll be 3-7.
It's gonna come down to whose quarterback performs best. Is really all it is. We got four quarterbacks, presumed quarterbacks, who will be starting in the NFC South. That if you were to tell me that one of them will be the best quarterback this year, I mean, I'm not really gonna fight you on it because there's arguments for all of them. They are all equally terrible. Some are probably a little worse than the others, but Bryce Young. Certainly promising, but let's be real. This dude's like 5'0", man. Eventually, somebody's gonna lay a really big hit on that quarterback.
It's not just.
I don't care. I don't care how smart he is. If he's too small and he's not strong enough to do it, he's gonna get exposed.
And you know what they say about small quarterbacks? They get a lot of passes batted down at the line.
Yeah, Baker's been having a couple batted down during
exactly. He's not as tall as Trask.
He's just stockier. I trust Baker Mayfield. Not more than Bryce Young, but I trust him to stay healthier because of the fact that he's so stocky and his body can take the punishment of the NFL.
And he's already been in it for a few years.
And he's won a playoff game. Your Bucs starting quarterback at least has won a playoff game. And when he played, he embarrassed the Steelers. It's not like they barely got by. That team embarrassed them. So I think with Baker, and I tell everybody, he's the guy that's going to get you hyped. That can work against you as well. But I think it'll do good because seeing your quarterback on a 3rd and 2 run for it and get the first down, and now you can now it's first down. Now
only if he slides.
Only if he slides, yeah.
I don't like fucking quarterbacks that don't slide. It pisses me off.
Yeah.
But
he's got to step up in the pocket too. He's got to step up in the pocket. That was something that we saw last year that Brady's been notorious no fear. I'm gonna step up in the pocket and deliver. Last year, it was tragic watching that shit, man. That man was so scared to step up in the pocket. Rightfully so. We had third stringers playing offensive line with Tristan Wirfs, but this year everybody's back, everybody's healthy. We got starting offensive line. Like, we're ready to go, and people are sleeping on this fucking team.
Yeah, they're sleeping on it because of the Brady effect. Because now that Brady is gone, you see a lot of the true Buck fans that's like, shit, if y'all think we going back to the dark ages with this squad, y'all must be crazy. Like you said, Salty, we've been through it. We've been through the dark times where we were like, where the hell we going? These are not the dark times. Not at all. Because Brady is gone, hell, we're gonna do better without him because
we don't have Altron Werner in coverage. We got guys all over this roster, man. We are going to do shit this year, man. I don't care how it gets done. It's gonna get done because we're going to be able to rotate bodies. This is something that we didn't have last year, where we could keep rotating bodies. All right, especially on defense. Now we're a little thin on the offense, but maybe not as thin as we thought, since we got guys like Raheem Jarrett, Devin Tompkins.
Devin Tompkins had a great camp considering he.
Cade Warner is showing things. We have a serious issue right now of how many wide receivers are we going to keep on this roster, because we got a lot of talented rookie receivers that are trying to make an impact right now.
Well, let's bring up the depth chart. I mean, I don't know if everyone will be able to see it, but I can bring it up if you want.
Yes, please bring it up.
Well, yeah, that doesn't help anybody. I might have to. I'm going to get so close to this. Okay, it's because I'm watching on my phone, so like that is tiny. I have to say that
I can see though. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. Like, there are so many guys. Dude,
if someone told me now what's the wide receiving core, I'm gonna go Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer. I'm gonna go. I'm trying to look where the slot is. Here we go.
And Ryan Miller and
Devin Tompkins. That's guaranteed.
Ryan Miller has played for Dave Canales out in Seattle.
So he could be the guy. That's. I think that's.
I'm sorry. I'm confusing him with David Moore. My bad. It was David Moore.
Oh, it's David Moore. So yeah, right now I would turn around and go Trey Palmer. Sorry. Yeah, I'd probably right now. If someone said to me, who you dudes? I go Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Trey Palmer. Where we go? Russell Gage, and Devin Tompkins. They're guaranteed, in my opinion. And then it's gonna be a battle for that sixth spot. Tight ends is a really surpriser for me because I was expecting a little bit more from Payne Durham. Payne Durham's like really low on this depth chart.
Yeah, I think he's going to be used more to be a blocking.
David Wells has been shining, bro. David Wells has been making a name for himself.
That's the name, though, isn't it? It is. And then I heard Dominic Delvini. He's snagged a few touchdowns on the way, and then big shout out for Logan Hall solidifying in the starting spot. Considering I know Will Gulston's just got into camp pretty much. You know, he's been at camp a week or so, but you know, to seal that spot, that's pretty awesome. And then Yaya's already clipping at the heels of JTS, so that's pretty nice. And then hearing the story about Savasi Adenis, I remember me and AJ talking about this guy and be like, hopefully, like if we do lose Levante, then he'll replace Levante. If we don't lose Levante, he'll replace Devin White if Devin White leaves. So we're kind of in a good place.
KJ Britt legitimately might be on the fringe as a bubble guy.
A
guy that's played on this roster for a couple of years now, won a Super Bowl ring with us.
Yep.
KJ Britt, I mean, his special teams we know is good, but the guys that make this roster are going to be the ones that play the best in special teams.
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you start looking at backups, that's pretty much what it is, isn't it? It's what do you do on special teams? Because there's no point in having you. Oh, he's a really good third string backup wide receiver. What does he do?
JJ Russell's another one. Probably not going to make the roster.
I was really surprised that Keyshawn Vaughn is like third string. Fair play to Chase Edmonds, the way he's like kind of bossed it. But I see that kind of going down as Rashad White, Chase Edmonds, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Sean Tucker. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I think they do keep Sean Tucker just because this man has the highest upside out of anybody behind Rashad White. So I don't think he'll be in danger. It really depends. Like I think we're gonna see probably more defensive players on this roster than offensive players, but it's really gonna come down to just who plays the best in these preseason games. Like
agree, and also how they're gonna be used, because somebody could be really good, but they go, but you don't fit for us right now, and we'll pick you up later. Shit, your boy Colin, number 27. I want to see what he gonna do.
Yeah, he's been working, from what I heard, exclusively as a second string corner rather than working for the nickel spot. He has done work at the nickel, but it seems to be a fight between D. Delaney and, just bear with me a moment because I need to see it.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they've said that he's really coming on as an outside corner.
Yeah.
It was just he was utilized as a nickel corner last year when Antoine was out because
they needed somebody. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and he was, in the words of Charles Barkley, terrible. God, I could not stand when he was out there. Hopefully, he is.
He's probably the most athletic guy on the team, though. To be honest,
people gotta remember it's a tough position. Corner is a tough position.
It is.
Another reason why Rondé should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. How well he played that position.
Hey, we keep stacking it. We keep stacking it. But our boy is in. He may not be first ballot, but our boy is in, and I'm happy about it.
He's finally in. We can't complain anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's either Simeon Rice or Allstott next.
Oh, now that's a good question.
It should be Simeon. It should be Simeon. Like it should be Simeon.
It's criminal that Simeon Rice is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. There's no way that I would argue for Mike Allstott over Simeon next for Hall of Fame. I hope they both get in. But
so
we have this thing with our fans, and I respect all our fans. I do. But the love for Allstott, I think we got like a bias towards the way we look back on him. Yes, he was absolutely one of the best fullbacks. Definitely, when you think fullback,
last great one,
you think about him. Now, what Simeon was doing, man, this man was averaging more sacks per game than Michael Strahan at the peak of his career. Like, this is a guy over 100 sacks, just a whole wrecking ball in that defense. Like,
and he was
a lot of people are going to try to argue, oh yeah, well, he's playing next to Warren Sapp. How hard is it to be good when you're playing against somebody like that? Well, like I'm stumped. Like you can look at his tape and you can just see the guy is flying all over the field.
Yes, he was.
He was flying when he was with his last team as well. It's not like it was a fluke. The Buccaneers picked up some trash and turned it into gold. He was still elite where he was before.
Absolutely.
With the card.
Yeah. That's personal bias. I think a lot of people, because it's the Bucs don't get a lot of respect because of it's the franchise. If Simeon Rice played for Dallas or Green Bay, he'd been in the Hall of Fame. It's just bullshit. So yes, because like you said, there was once upon a time where Simeon Rice was always considered elite. I'd say from 2001 to 2005, he was always top 3 defensive ends.
He should have been Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you go back and watch the tape, like this man is making play after play after play. Should have been. We had a lot of guys that picked off passes in that game. Like, come on, man. Like,
oh yeah, no.
Simeon, it was one of the harder ones to do. I'm surprised that they gave it to Dexter Jackson, but I mean, Simeon Rice definitely deserved.
Yeah, I think they
like Gronk deserved Super Bowl MVP most recently. If you would have gave the Super Bowl MVP to Gronk, I would have said, yeah, he kind of took the heartbeat out of the Chiefs early, man.
Yes, he did.
Getting back those 2 touchdowns, man.
Yes, you're right. There was a play where Brady throws up the seam. You can literally see Honey Badger put his arms up like this in frustration. Like, what were y'all doing? Yeah, I think Gronk, but Gronk was MVP of the playoff series because look at what he did to Chase Young by himself in Washington. He just manhandled him by himself. Mm-hmm. Like he gave me the two.
And that was pre-injury. That was pre-injury Chase Young too.
Right. He gave me Patriot vibes again. I'm like, oh my God, that's Gronk in New England.
Mm. Oh, that's for sure.
Shit. Yeah, we had it made, guys. But that's why I
think he would have played that third year if he didn't break his ribs against the Rams in the second year.
Yeah, that dirty
ass. I think he would have came back and played last year.
Yeah, that dirty ass hit. Messed everything. I'll tell you this. If Slick and I, we've gone back and forth. This is big ass what if. This is some Marvel what if shit. The Bucs, if Bowles doesn't do that dumbass blitz against the Rams, the Bucs stop and win that game and win the Super Bowl. Brady would have retired that season. Then Gronk would have retired. So, or if they do come back,
and they would have gone into the Hall of Fame together.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna go back to back years.
They want to give it one more year to do some dynasty shit. That might have been it's just a lot of what ifs, but like you said, the thing was, let's get back to what you were saying about Simeon. Yeah, Simeon was the disrespect that people have. I just say you don't realize what he did and how fast he was. He was one of the reasons he was a player that exposed Michael Vick's weakness. A lot of people didn't realize Michael Vick's biggest weakness was fast defensive ends. He exposed that because before people didn't know how to stop him. They didn't know how to stop Vick.
Yeah, so speed. You beat speed with speed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You either out physical it or you match the speed.
You got to match the speed.
Exactly. You got to match the speed.
It's once you get behind, once you can, with someone who's just got power, if you can make a miss, you're gone.
Yeah.
With someone with speed, they can still try and catch up with you, even if you make them miss.
But somebody with power can take a Michael Vick out of the game, though.
They can because they can bully the way.
Yeah, laying the right hit on them.
But when you have power, you have to be precise. Slick is right. If you're gonna hit or you're gonna lay the boom, you have to do it at the right time because, like Slick said, if you do
John Lynch.
John Lynch was super precise. And I love that you brought him up. He was another guy that just said, "No, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you where you flip in the air, and I know where you're gonna go." Guys like him were rare because they knew how to anticipate where you were gonna make that.
We're not gonna see it again. We're not gonna see a John Lynch again. They will not let anybody play like that anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
There is no way they let somebody get away with what John Lynch used to get away with.
Hell no.
That's what you got to be. You got to play as a bullhawk. That's it. Or play as a Bucs safety / linebacker.
That's right.
You can't hit the way you used to hit in the sense of you can't hit a receiver the way he used to, because he would beat the shit out of wide receivers.
Out.
Yes, and
the old bang 8 coming across. Boosh!
Yeah. If you see 47, run.
Very true, Sean. Very true. I was getting ready to say, you talking about that's top 3 greatest running backs of all time. Yeah. And he hit another top 5 running back of all time with precise, and that was Marshall Faulk. So John Lynch went up against everybody.
Here's a random stat for the room. Michael Strahan and Simeon Rice have never forced a fumble.
Wow. That's surprising.
According to this.
That's surprising.
That's insane. They've got fumble recoveries, but they've never popped the ball out. I know, forced fumbles found here. Sorry, they've never fumbled the ball. That'd be why I looked at it and got it wrong. 28-24.
Okay.
And how many more? I know Strahan has 20-something more sacks than Simeon Rice though. I think Simeon Rice.
He does, but he played a lot more games.
Simeon Rice has 161. Mike Strahan has 205.
Damn.
Yeah, that's like 4 seasons worth, I would guess.
Yeah, like 40 plus games on him. Like it's
for sure.
Simeon deserves his flowers.
Well,
He
let
should
me
be
ask
the
y'all this:
next Buck that gets in.
who would you rather have on the to get to the quarterback, Strahan or Simeon?
I'll take either. I don't care.
I mean, they
both
look
are Hall of Fame
a lot
talented.
of their stats are similar. I think if they played the same amount of years, I think I can adjust this to go for a certain X amount of years, but their sacks is 122 to 141. When you played 40 more games, you know what I'm saying? It's like, even if you got 20 sacks in
that's
that,
a lot of production that Simeon's missing out on.
Mm-hmm.
Had he played that many
400 tackles to 200. The only thing I'd say the tackles is quite impressive for Strahan, because it's 403 to 663, which for a D end is pretty impressive.
It's a lot of run stop.
That's a lot of run stop, yeah, for sure. Assists 80 to 188. So he was very good at the run. Very, very. Strahan was much better at the run, and the combined is almost double.
Yeah, you probably take Michael Strahan, but if you end up with
that's why he's the first ballot, yeah.
If you end up with Simeon Rice, you're not going to be upset.
No. Well, he's a Hall of Famer. He might not just be one of those Hall of Fame. It's taken him a few years to get in. Whereas Strahan, you can argue that he is a first ballot boy. That's fine. we can all live with that. It's just it's a crime that Simeon Rice is not in the Hall of Fame with what he has.
Yeah, well, let's hope Ira Kaufman can make things happen and get him in there like he did with Rondé.
Don't hold your breath, bro.
Damn. I mean, hey, 4 Buccaneers on the same team that are Hall of Famers. That's why I say you got to put the Bucs defense.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to put them
and
in.
If they put Simeon in as the 5th, we're talking about top 3 defense all time.
Shit, yeah, we're talking about top 3 right now. I tell people, look at the longevity the Bucs defense had. Not just it didn't have to take one special year. Look at all
98 to
97 to 2007. Look at it. People forget even in
we got it at every level. We got it at every level.
In 05, the Bucs was number one
defense. Linebacker, defensive backs. That Hall of Fame defense is all throughout that defense.
And then the Tampa 2
redefined. Drafted guy. Most of that's drafted.
Yep.
Simeon's probably the only guy that's really bought in.
Did we draft Booger? I mean, not that he's Hall of Fame. No, I'm not saying.
I know what you're saying, but
I'm just wondering, like everybody that was on that defense, like, did we draft everybody?
For the most part, yeah. Besides Simeon Rice,
drafted Booger or not?
Besides Simeon,
just to be sure.
Because I remember that line. You had Greg Spires, you had Sapp, you had Booger McFarland, and you had Simeon. Then you had Shelton Quarles, you had Brooks, then you had
Sean Quarles played great. Sean Quarles, he played great.
Yep. And of course Lynch and
stepped up when Booger couldn't play in the championship game.
Yeah, he did a hell of a job. Mm-hmm. Did a hell of a job.
Booger, one of the most dominant Super Bowls ever played.
Considering
the fact that we were playing,
Booger has never been in a close Super Bowl. That's the best part.
I love it.
We're 2-0. 2-0.
When we beat you, we beat you. That's the beauty. When we beat you, we beat your ass. And
also one of the only teams that has won a Super Bowl in both primary uniforms.
Facts.
Red and white.
And we were the first to ever win it in our home. The first to ever win it in Tampa. Can you imagine if that stadium was fully packed? Shit. I wish I would have been in Tampa when that happened. Oh, God. I'm sure people didn't go to sleep that night. I know some of my family didn't go to sleep. They were like,
it's gonna be one of my biggest regrets being a season ticket holder and not going to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, just couldn't swing it. Like, it was just too damn expensive. Got offered the tickets, but couldn't make it work. But
that sucks, man.
But hey, we'll see another one. I'm confident we will.
I agree.
Maybe not Tampa playing in Tampa, but I mean there will be Super Bowls to attend.
Agreed. But I do see Tampa. I see us getting there if we do things right.
Let's talk about this team. Let's talk about this team on the paper. This 2002 team. So Greg Spires was not drafted by us.
Where did he come from?
New England.
Oh,
I mean, he bounced around the league before he got to us, but he was drafted by New England. Chick Darby, Baltimore Ravens, Rice, Cardinals, Bucs. He was drafted. Shelton, I think he was drafted. Yeah, drafted. Yeah, 100%. Oh no, sorry, Miami Dolphins. It was,
for Quarles.
Yeah, Miami Dolphins, 1994 as an undrafted free agent.
Well, thank you, Dolphins.
Then BC Lions, but he was only practice squad. Then he went to BC Lions, and then his first real outing as a NFL player was with the Bucs.
Oh, okay.
So you can argue it. You can argue it. Brooks, we know. Brian Kelly. Just to be sure. Yep. Bucs.
Rondé, of course.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple of these without exception. Dexter Jackson as well.
Lynch.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 11 is guaranteed. You could make an argument for 8.
There it is. And over the years, the Bucs defense was just always good. That's one thing I could count on, even through the shitty years in the early 2000s. I'm like, this Bucs defense is going to be good, though. Chucky just, unfortunately, was the kind of coach where if you have if the team is already set, he can help you win, but he's not a building type of coach. And it's hard. It's not that many coaches that can build.
Chucky, by the way, going to the Saints.
Yeah.
Dick move, bro. Dick move.
You know what? It'll be even sweeter when we whoop their ass. So if I'm
That's all right. When they make him head coach, he'll trade everybody away.
Exactly. My thing is, when you play the Saints this season, the Bucs should go out of their way to beat this fucking team by at least 17 points. Nothing less. Anything less is disrespectful. That's my thing. That's how I feel. So, yeah, but Chucky, whatever. Fuck him, whatever. It is what it is. You got us our ring, and then you dismantled the team with your bullshit, but that's another story for another time. We got our rings, and despite his fuck ups and despite Shiano, Lovey Smith, Dirt
Cutter.
Raheem
we've gone through some coaches, man.
We have, but Raheem was that dude. Raheem Morris was that dude in spades where he didn't have anything.
If he had a better roster, he would have.
He was able to give you at least a 4. He didn't because the year after he gets canned, that's when we get Vincent Jackson, rest in peace. That's when the Glazers started opening that wallet.
Yeah, we had Greg Schiano as head coach to fuck it all up.
Yeah, and then we had Darrelle Revis on our team, and then
that's another thing. You have Darrelle Revis. How do you not use him in man coverage? What he specializes in? How are you trying to put him in a zone defense?
Because why would you even make the fucking trade for a guy who's got a skill set that's not going to be used?
Right. Exactly.
I knew we were doomed the first game, and all of a sudden, we were blown out so many games because of him. That Atlanta Falcon beat down Lovey Smith. We got blown out.
What was that game like 57 to
56 to 56 to 16 or some shit like that. Jesus. I don't even like to think about it. It was so bad. That was depressing. But yeah, Lovey just had to go. And then not Dirk Cutter. Because he was some shit. He had no control of the locker.
Bring his bloody friend in, Mike Smith, and
exactly.
Stupid fucking cover 3 that didn't work.
I used to call Dirk
Deshaun Jackson coming in here fucking up the locker room.
Dirk Cuttard.
Yes,
I love that.
He had no control of that locker room at all. Deshaun brung his.
You know when it was over? You know when it was over for Dirk? When he had that press conference where he was like throwing the candies at the media guys.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this ain't a real head coach. This
ain't
a real head coach, man.
No,
like, get this man out of here.
It's like the Glazers wasted so much money paying people to go away. How many millions have they spent to be like, yo, just get the fuck out of here. Just take this and go. Take this and go. And then so it's just it'd be like that. But
Todd's got a hot seat, but I don't think it's quite as hot as like, somebody like Shiano's was or Cutter's was.
No, I was gonna bring that in, and then because it's getting late, we can all have this. What is your final say? Let's not even talk about the players right now. What are your expectations for this coaching staff? Salty, I wanted to give you that. That's the final question I'm asked. What is your expectations for the coaches that you have?
It's kind of a mixed bag, honestly, because Todd Bowles, I feel like, got a lot of shit that he didn't actually deserve for the job that he did last year. This man did win the division. Granted, it was a shitty division, but he still went out there first year, won the division, beat the Saints. Something that he swept the Saints actually. Something
that since 2007, I believe.
Something that Bruce Arians couldn't do when he was here. Not that I'm comparing them, it's two different kind of styles of coaches. I personally don't like having a defensive head coach. I think that style, that philosophy of just being the head man in charge is kind of outdated a little bit. I think that the league has transitioned into more of an offensive game, and you kind of need a hot and upcoming, like just like an innovator to be your head coach. That being said, man, I'm extremely optimistic, cautiously optimistic, but optimistic nonetheless about the way that Dave Canales is going to conduct this offense. I feel like, everything that I've heard has been positive about the way that this man is running things. You got guys like Rachaad White who already love this guy. You're hearing reports that Mike Evans is looking better than he's ever looked. Godwin is fully healthy. Gage is coming back. You got Sean Tucker, who's promising as a backup running back. Keyshawn Vaughn might actually get some touches, and we'll finally see whether or not this dude can be a backup. Just a lot to be excited about on that side of the ball. It's really just like, is Luke Gedeke going to be a solid right tackle that will hold up the length of the season, that we can actually do some things on this offense? Is Baker Mayfield going to turn the ball over too much that we won't be able to do things? I think that's what the team really hinges on. I have full confidence in the defense. The fact that we don't have to use Shaq Barrett out there every snap after he's coming off of a torn Achilles. We're going to use him rotationally. Yes, he'll get the credit as a starter. In air quotes, he'll be the starter, but he's not going to play starter snaps. Like, it's not going to be anything close to that. We have so many options coming off the edge right now. This team is night and day, faster, stronger, younger this year on both sides of the ball. Like, we are going to see a much different product than we saw last year. And I think that this team is too talented to lose more than 10 games. I don't think we are a 10-loss team. I really don't think we're anywhere like in that category of a bad team. I think this firmly, I will say this is a 9 to 11 win team, because 2 of those games could go any which way. But I do believe in 9 and 8.
AJ?
Lovely. Yeah, my only message to the coaching staff is play to your players' best abilities and not just your scheme. You want to get the best out of your players, talk to them, compromise. Let's make things, let's even it out. And again, it's not just because last year with the coaching staff, I believe a lot of them were in over their heads, but also they had an arrogance about them where
Bowles didn't get to pick his staff.
Yeah, I know. But even with
that's a factor. Like,
yeah, it is. But if
you're asking him to be the head coach, and he doesn't even have the guys that he wants coaching the skill groups.
I get it, but for me, if I was Bowles, sometimes coaches have to drastic measures to save a team. You have to show that these players, hey, look, anybody can be expendable if you're going to hurt this team. I would have fired Byron after the Pittsburgh game, because that was a blunder. That was a clusterfuck. That was unacceptable. That was inexcusable. And I know people say, well, now you're setting.
Who was honestly the option had they done it? Who was going to call plays? was Bruce Arians going to come back out of retirement to
but
play? It's like
it's
he was put in such a tough situation last year.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to apologize for Bowles because I know it polarizes the entire fan base. Plenty of the fan base thinks that this guy can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. I'm not going to judge him off of last year. I'm going to judge him off of this year. Now, if we go 5 games into the season and we're 1-4, yeah, I might be calling for his job early. But if we start out and we're 3-2, 4-1, somewhere around that area, hell, even if we go into week 5 and we're 2-2, I'm gonna say give him a little more time. Let's see what this team actually is. It's early.
Oh, absolutely. But this is where Bowles is gonna have to up jump and take it to the next level. I know he can be a fierce guy, but I need to see more adjustments. I need to see. That's what I want to look at in this coaching staff. The biggest thing, adjust. If something's not working, don't stick to it. If something's not working, be creative. If something is, I want you to do something, whatever, for whatever reason, when we play other teams, they get our number and they make us lose our identity. I want the Bucs offense and the coaching staff just to run with it and do it the right way and take risks, take them deep shots, throw something out there, utilize it. Evans should be the first priority, not just so he can break the record, but you get him open. That means Godwin can get open because they got to double. Evans is the type of receiver we all know now that if you don't double him, it's disrespectful. You double him, Godwin or Gage can get open, Cade Otton, or you can actually get the run game going. So that's my whole message to the coaching staff. Use the players to the best of their abilities and not just rely on your scheme. That's all I want to say for that. That's good coaching. That's why Belichick was where he was for so many years. He used the best of their abilities. Okay, you're a blitzing linebacker. That's what we're going to use you for. Don't worry about coverage. We got somebody else who can do that. Your job is this. So the players, it's about the players' abilities, not just your scheme. So that's my only message to the coaching staff. How about you, Slick?
I think I would probably go down the lines of predominantly just for the defense, take a risk now and again. Don't be afraid to dial it up, and same with the offense. Take a risk now and again. Just be calculated. Don't be so passive that you can be worked out, because once you start playing too conservative, teams will have your number because all they got to do is stop the easy hit. Now, I know we got the playmakers, but sometimes you got to you got to put the playmakers in a better position to make bigger plays. It's all well and good throwing it shallow and see what shakes loose. That does work too. You can't live and die off that, because you can die off it. I want you to take risks take opportunities when opportunities present themselves. And that comes down to good coaching of teaching these guys when to get through their reads, what they see, what's on offer, and go fucking for the jugular. We need to be merciless on defense. Not fucking let up one little bit. I feel like I'm making a fucking team speech now. Not let one bit. Never take a step against it. I do not want to have a fucking press conference where I see Devin White going, when you're kicking someone's ass, you kind of just take your foot off the gas and, you just see what happens. And it's like, I don't want to hear that no more. We put our foot on the gas, we choked them out, now they're fucking dead, and now we're stomping on their head until their brain pops out their skull. I don't want to hear, no, we were taking it fucking easy. I don't believe in that shit. That stuff doesn't happen.
Go ahead, Slick. Look, he got more fire than all of us tonight. Go ahead, Slick. I think he was. Look, Bowles might have heard that. I think Bowles heard that. He gonna tell you.
They better. I just don't want to hear. Any of that. Oh well, when you're beating down a team, you can't take. No, we got to. If we want to be that defense, you want to be that dude, then you got to kick that ass. If you want to be that defense, you got to do that shit. You can't be known for a team that lets a team back into games. You've got to choke them the fuck out and finish the job.
Yes.
Facts. Shit, well, that sums it up.
We have done that over the years so many times.
For sure.
Teams like Atlanta, teams like the Saints, where we've hung with them for a couple of quarters, pulled out a lead in the third quarter, and then just shit the bed the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah, because we never adjusted. every team when they, the past few years that I've seen, when they come out and they adjust great against the Bucs. The Bucs didn't do it, especially on offense. Even when we had Arians as our coach and that Rams playoffs, if Wirfs is out, don't just stick another guy in it and hope for the best when Von Miller was fucking hot. Chip his ass. Do certain plays where you're throwing it away from him.
Von was lining up mostly on fucking turnstile Donovan Smith.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
But the sentiment is true. Is the offensive line was significantly weaker. That's another factor. If Tristan Wirfs plays that game, we probably win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was our year to be. Yeah, I get it. I don't even want to go into.
Actually, there was a key play in that. Brady gets hit in the mouth. They don't call a roughing passer, and that kind of, it was already snowballing at that point. But that was a key point in the game where a penalty flag could have disrupted the momentum that the Rams had right there.
And not only that, we come back, we get a couple of fumbles, get the ball back, give some short fields, and then I think the thing was it just before the half, they fumble the ball. Antoine Winfield pops that bitch out, and then the game starts to change off that. And then we're in a position, and of course, what happens, and it is what it is. But I do agree. I think you look at.
I was pretty inebriated at that point at that game.
I think
we got the fumble. I was like, oh my god.
Yep, no problem. But we'll let you go, my man, because I know it's getting late. Because for Slick, it's about 5 a.m. over there almost, right?
It's 4:15.
See, yeah, but look, Salty, we always appreciate you coming on, man. This is some real good Buck talk shit. Again, tell the world where they can find you.
All right, y'all can find me on Twitter or X, however you want to call it. It is at SaltyBuck91. All right. Give me a follow. If you ever got any questions, concerns, anything you want to talk about with the Buccaneers, I will go all day with you. I will answer as quick as I can. I usually do get to everybody. Just respect that I know ball. And I know that you want to talk ball. We will get this shit done. We will have a great season. I am not going to be negative heading into the season. I really firmly believe in this team, and if you are all about it, you with the Buccaneers, and you want to fire the cannons with me, we gonna do it this year. But let's do it.
Let's do it,
my man. You take care of yourself, all right, Salty, and continue to tweet your shit.
Oh yeah, and Bucky says hi.
What's up, Bucky?
I love that. That's awesome. Catch you soon, brother. Much appreciated.
All right, guys.
Take care of yourself, my man. Peace out. And again, guys, you can always find me on my personal channel at It's About Bucking Time. I'm gonna be going heavy. I'm gonna be talking about the preseason. Also, I got new merchandise that's out. Check it out check the link in the bio. Some good shit. That's Captain Cannon right there. And, just get ready for this season, y'all. Again, as always, go Bucs.
Catch you soon, AJ. Look out yourself, brother.
My man.
Okay, guys, that is the end of the show. Thank you for partaking and enjoying another episode of the Aftermath. I am now off season, so I might be helping a team in the playoffs. We'll see how that really looks like. But at the moment, I am fully committed to this and my social media. That'll be pumping out in the next few days once this Buccaneers first game comes out, and we get to see a little taste of what this Buccaneers offense can truly do. I just hope the starters come out, score a touchdown, and we can walk away going, job done. That's all. And the defense does their shit. If we walk away, the offense has 1 or 2 drives and we get a touchdown, and the defense doesn't concede any. For me, that's job done. Tick. Let's move on to the next motherfucker. Thank you for commenting to everyone. Sean Spencer, our resident Commodores / Washington fan. He is obviously overmade that his team is now not owned by a dickhead anymore, so that's always great. Good for the league as well. But absolutely, we're looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to this weekend coming up. We got preseason football. Football is back, so I'll catch you guys soon. Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!